go to Mike Petraglia. Mike?
Afternoon, Joe. How are you doing? Good?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Two-part question, real quick. Have you ever been nervous before a game? And what about your background in playing so many big games you think helps you for a day like Sunday?
I wouldn't call it nervous. I would call it anxious, excited. And it's not before the game. I would say the night before the game when I'm thinking about all the possible situations. But once game time comes, pregame warmups, I'm loose, confident, ready to go.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Brandon Seho. Brandon?
Hey, Joe, I'm at an airport, so hopefully you can hear me all right. Just curious, I'm sure when you were at LSU, you had a moment where you realized this could be a championship team. Did you have a moment this season in training camp or throughout the year where you realized this team could go to the Super Bowl and be a championship team?
I didn't know about the whole Super Bowl thing, but when we went into Baltimore and beat Baltimore, I thought we could be a really good team. Thought we could win our division, and then we just kept getting better and better. And I think we can beat anybody in the league, and I think we've proven that.
Charlie Goldsmith. Go ahead, Charlie.
When you look at Bills versus Chiefs last week and all of the great young quarterbacks in the AFC right now, can you describe the level of quarterback play it's going to take to win the conference this year and for the rest of your career?
Near perfect. I think, every week of the playoffs has proven that. It goes through Kansas City, and Patrick Mahomes has been near perfect for 4 years, however many years he's been starting. So that's what it's going to take for me. It's not just a quarterback-driven game. It's a team game, but I think wins and losses usually come down to how each quarterback plays.
Next question, Jeremy Rao. Jeremy?
Hey, Joe, I don't know if you can see this on my laptop here. Can you see that photo of you?
Yeah, I can.
Your dad tweeted that this morning, a photo of you in the Chiefs helmet from when you were a little tyke, and he said you were a big Chiefs fan. You loved the Chiefs red. How much did you really love the Chiefs growing up, considering where you were born and everything? And what is it like now playing this team with everything on the line?
I would say I was probably a Chiefs fan before I can remember being a Chiefs fan. I was probably too young to remember all of that, but I still have that little plastic helmet in my room back home. So that is what it is.
Next question, Jeff Hobson. Jeff? Oh, Jeff, you're on mute. You're on mute there, Jeff.
Thanks. That's kind of fitting. I got a noise question, Joe. What do you think it's going to be like out there? You've obviously gone through this before, and how would you rate the noise that's being piped in this week?
It's definitely going to be loud. We practiced with it throughout the week, so we're anticipating a very loud crowd. It's going to be tough for us to communicate. Obviously, their fans are going to be excited, just like our fans would be excited. So we're going to have to be ready to, be very efficient with our nonverbal communication.
Next question, Aditi Kinkabwala. Aditi?
Thanks, Zach. Hey, Joe. Brian Callahan earlier this week said that one day you will learn to throw the ball away and give yourself up before the sack, but that day is not today. Why is it not that day just yet? And do you think it sends a message that you're willing to take all these hits?
Well, I don't know about that. I just try to give my team the best chance to win, try to make plays out there. I throw the ball away when I feel like the ball needs to be thrown away, and I try to extend the play when I feel like I have an opportunity to do so. So, I think it just depends on the situation. I'm not scared to take hits, but obviously the less amount you can take, the better for your career.
But do you think that every time you get up, it sends a message to even your defense or your teammates?
I don't know about that. Maybe it does. It's probably a better question for them. I just get up and play the next play. That's what football is.
Thank you.
Next question is WCPO. Caleb, go ahead. Oh, Caleb, go ahead and unmute your line there, Caleb. Okay, we'll go to Dave Lapham. Go ahead, Dave.
Yes, Joe, in a follow-up to that, your dad was a defensive coach, defensive coordinator for a bunch of years. Your two brothers were defensive football players. Do you play quarterback with like a defensive player mentality? I mean, do you like the physical contact part of football as much as anything?
Yeah, I think that's at the end of the day, that's what football is. It's physical, it's tough, and I think as a quarterback, you have to be that way if you want to succeed in this league.
Next question is Joe Daneman. Joe.
Joe, we've noticed your messaging after some of these playoff wins. When you beat the Raiders, you talked about this becoming the standard. When you beat the Titans, it's not why, not us, it is us was the new message. What message are you giving to your team this week? And how important do you think from a quarterback those messages are for your team to have that before they play?
I think as a quarterback, it's important to, be an extension of the coaching staff to you guys, to the media, and within the locker room, just to, portray the message that the head coach wants to portray throughout the team. And so I always try to do that, and I don't always have something to say, but when I feel like I have something that is worth hearing, I try to speak up and say my piece. And so, I think if you start to say too much, guys kind of tune you out. And so I try to pick my spots here and there to, really have a message, not every day, but, maybe once or twice a week.
We're going to give Caleb another shot. Caleb?
Hey, Joe, you talked about your excitement the night before the game. I'm curious to know when that excitement sets in. Like, is it when you get on the plane or get off the bus, or when you're just sitting in your hotel? When does that excitement kind of set in? And also, what does the night before a game look like for you?
It's pretty relaxing for me up until, around bedtime. When I start to get to myself and not around the guys anymore, starting to think about the next day, and I'm just by myself in my hotel room. And then I go to sleep, and then, that's over with. And then it's game day, and then the lights turn on.
Next up is Ben Baby. Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, Joe, the conversation throughout a lot of the week has been about the crowd noise. What's been your reaction about that being such a dominating topic of going into this game, given kind of your history in playing some of these loud stadiums?
It's always going to be a topic when you're playing on the road in the playoffs. It was loud last week. We handled it okay. We had a couple mistakes, but I think we've had a good week of practice within that noise, and so I think we're going to be more well prepared for it.
I think you and TP both said that you have guys who played in the SEC, so the crowd noise wouldn't be a factor or shouldn't be a factor. Do you expect Kansas City fans to maybe try to ramp up the intensity to maybe change y'all's minds about how loud it can be out there?
Well, I think the crowd noise will always be a factor. It's just whether you're efficient in your nonverbal communication and how well you handle it. We've been really good at handling it throughout the entire year, and we're going to look to continue that this week.
Okay, we're going to go to Dan Horde. Dan?
Joe, considering the success you guys had throwing the ball in game one, it stands to reason the Chiefs are going to make major adjustments on Sunday. How much do you try to anticipate what they're going to do, and how much do you just react when you get out there and see it?
A little of both. The entire year teams have, done something different than they've done to all the other teams against us. And so we have our game plan against certain coverages that you expect. And then, you get into the game and you have to make adjustments every week because teams tend to play us a little differently. So, I think, we'll be ready for, whatever they have. We're ready for their base stuff. And then I'm sure they'll have a wrinkle or two for us that we'll have to adjust to on the fly.
Next up is Joe Daneman. Joe?
Joe, we talked to your high school coach, Nathan White, earlier this week, and he mentioned how much fun you have in big games. He said the bigger the game, the more fun Joe has. Two-part here. Is this the biggest game you've ever played in? We all know you played at a national championship. And why do you have more fun in big games?
At this level, it's for sure the biggest game I played in. I think it's tough to compare college games and NFL games because at the time, those are, do or die situations. And then you look back and you got past those, and now you're in the NFL and it's a different stage and it's a bigger platform and all that. So I think it's kind of tough to compare. But these are the reason that I play football. I play to get to these moments and to make plays and take advantage of my opportunities. I work really hard for these moments. And if I worked really hard and never got to a position that I'm in right now, playing in an AFC Championship game, chance to go to the Super Bowl, I think that would be tough for me to mentally to work as hard as I do each week in the off season to come in and go 500 every year and be a fringe playoff team. I work so hard so I can get into these moments and play well.
Okay, and the last question today goes to Dave Lapham. Dave?
Joe, all year long, a big focus was getting off to a good start, scoring first, that sort of thing. And for the season, the regular season, the first quarter was your lowest scoring quarter. Here in the playoffs, it's just the reverse. The first quarter is the highest scoring quarter for the football team. Has that been a big focus? And why do you think you've had success scoring first, playing with the lead in the playoffs?
I think we got tired of having to come back every single game. That was, it's tough to do. We've been able to do it, and we've been a great second half team. But it puts you're really just dropping back and throwing the ball every snap when you're down, and puts the offensive line in a tough situation. So when you get out to a lead, kind of opens up your entire playbook. So we can't get down 14-0 like we did last game. We're gonna have to start fast, run the ball, and kind of take control of the game.
Joe, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Good luck on Sunday. Appreciate it.
Recording stopped.